Hi, this is Mark News from Plant Talk Radio. Thanks for subscribing and listening to our podcast, Your Gardening Questions from Plant Talk Radio. If you have a gardening question you'd like our host Fred Howard to answer, send him an email. The email address is fred@planttalkradio.com. Now for today's question.
Good morning. How are you?
We're fine. A little cloudy and overcast, but that's acceptable.
Yeah, it is. The rain's over. So I listen to you every Saturday and really enjoy what you tell us.
Thank you.
I have a question. We have boxwood bushes in front of our house, and we just discovered that they're getting brown on the top. It looks like they're dying. They're like 30 years old. Could they have reached the end of their cycle?
Well, yes, that is at least a possibility, Betty. However, 30 years old is not old as boxwood goes in a few of the places I have been. I'm going to bet there's something else going on, and I'm going to recommend strongly, because of a boxwood disease that got a start several years ago, and because of its significance, well, let's just say agriculture stepped in and dispatched those plants and all like them and all possible babies, so to speak, cuttings from them, hoping to have taken care of that. I doubt that a 30-year-old plant would be in this situation, but I think if you can, access Ohio State's plant pathology lab, send in some specimens, and this would be now a few of the stems that are dead, a few that are dying, and try then in perhaps a box, but take some fairly sizable cuttings from down inside. I'm not sure what is happening on 30-year-old plants that just start showing that. In individual stems, and even a critter walking through and bending one of the bigger stems harshly could cause that. But what you're describing, I think, is a little bit broader than that. So I don't know whether to suggest disease or pest. Pests are relatively few on boxwood. In the meantime, an application of a slow-release fertilizer down both sides of the row, or whatever condition they're in, staying away from the stem, stay out to the edge of the foliage and so on. Cross your fingers, but I think it's time to maybe send some specimens from any of several of those plants, and you might bundle them separately and mark them for your own knowledge of which one they came off of, and get a full, let's call it, scientific answer on that, because a 30-year-old plants shouldn't be dying out. Let me go back into question. Approximately what percentage of these plants, or what percentage of any individual plant, is dying?
Well, we have 4 bushes here in the front, Fred, and they're all brown on the top and getting brown down below. And then we have 6 bushes out front here, and they're starting to get brown on the top, too. And they've been beautiful for years.
Well, I can appreciate that, or we'd have talked a long time ago. Now, when did they start getting brown? Was it right from scratch in the spring, or has it been since they leafed out?
You know what? My husband trimmed them, and they were beautiful like a week or so ago, and we just noticed they're getting brown. Oh.
Now, on 30-year-old plants, the growth is probably very significantly on the external ends of each stem, large or small. He may have pruned too late, but I've pruned boxwood at a different time of year, March actually, where I cut into stuff thicker than my fingers, and it scares you to death. It'll be 5-6 weeks before they start to leaf out again. I'm wondering if maybe he just cut below the growth points, and you simply need to wait until they get a chance to reward you again.
Okay.
Meantime, I might suggest the pathology lab at Ohio State, but you might be just into a timing factor where he got a little rambunctious, a little too late in the year. Now, I'm going to suggest that there could be a 4 to 6 week period that'll just scare you to death. It is also possible on older plants like that, if he did get it into too heavy, they may not recover. But That now it doesn't going to help your husband's attitude at all. But
yeah, I know. That's okay.
Yeah, the factor that it may not be a disease in an insect is a blessing. Now let's just wait and see what happens.
Okay, well, I appreciate the information, Fred. Thanks
Very
for
good.
all you do for us.
Thanks, Betty.
Hey, thanks again for listening to our podcast. Be sure to subscribe to our other podcasts as well, the Plant of the Week podcast and the Plant Talk Radio podcast, all on iTunes or your favorite podcast player. If you'd like to sponsor a daily podcast, contact us at fred@planttalkradio.com. To find out more about Fred Hauer and Plant Talk Radio, visit our website, planttalkradio.com.
Hi, this is meteorologist Jennifer Naramore. You hear my daily forecast. Now you can check out our podcast about one of nature's most fascinating phenomenon, tornadoes. You'll hear from scientists, storm chasers, and storm survivors. Plus, stories never told before. They're so riveting you can see them in your mind. They can happen anywhere in the world, any day of the year. Don't miss the next episode of Tornado Talk.
Circle270media.com.